to all our listeners. I'm Talea. Today I will be interviewing Lorenzo Green to you on behalf of Soy Saving Our Youth. Please tell us a little about yourself and what caused you to the work you do.
Absolutely. Like you stated, I'm Lorenzo Green. Everyone just called me Lorenzo. I am currently an advisory neighborhood commissioner representing Deanwood in single member district 7C04, which is just basically a little piece of the central part of the Deanwood community in Ward 7. I've been representing Deanwood on the commission since January 2017. And prior to that, I was a commissioner over in Fort Stanton in Ward 8, and I was elected to that position in November 2012. So I'm going on 10 years as a commissioner, but I'm only 36. Just turned 36 in November. And basically all my work really is just trying to help our people in our community, mainly Black and brown indigenous folks who are trying to get ahead in a society that was not built for Black people. And it wasn't built to benefit us. It wasn't built to carry our wealth forward, as we still fighting for that today. So we got to get our piece every chance we can. That means that we got to make the right investments into education in our schools and our neighborhoods, making sure that we keep up our fight for a decent grocery store, the fact that we got to fight for a grocery store, but that's what we got to do. All of these are just a long list of issues that matter to everyday people in our communities so they can get up every day, take care of their babies, feed their families, and making sure that we're doing our part to build a community that everybody feels safe in. So that's basically the gist of my work. But anybody that want to, understand the ANC life, as I say, it ain't for the weak of heart. We don't get paid at all. I collect no checks. It's volunteer work that you got to be elected to by your community. And, you basically be a voice. And for me, I take that very seriously. So I use my voice as a weapon, as I tell all my neighbors. I'm your weapon. Use me as you see fit. Government not catering to you, let me know. The school's not treating your babies right, let me know. That's what we do. We bring attention to the issues that matter.
Tell us about the We Keep Us Safe movement. What will it take for us to learn and to forgive?
Mm. Well, the We Keep Us Safe movement is really reminding people that the only way that we can stay safe in our communities is if we rely on each other and look to each other for that safety. And it's really just telling us that we can't think that we can just pick up the phone, call 911, and believe that that's going to solve the problem. All that does is just respond to it. But we got to unpack it, figure out why it happened. And a lot of these things are just everyday issues that explode. It could be me and my best friend having an argument over something petty. But because we don't know how to control our anger, or we don't know how to understand what forgiveness is between one another, we'll act out on that anger, and it's how far you take that anger is where the chaos comes in. Because it's just, anger is an emotion. It's okay to be angry about something. It's okay to express yourself to your friend. But it's when you want to hurt your friend physically, even with words. That's when things go to another level. So we really got to teach each other what love means to one another. It's not something that's sexual. It's something that is a pure emotion that you just have for one another. If I love you, I'm gonna look out for you. I'm gonna take care of you. And you're gonna do the same for me. If you're hungry, I'm gonna make sure that when I come back to the neighborhood, I'm gonna have just enough to hit you up to let you know, hey, if you're hungry, you can stop by, get a piece of chicken if you want. Something as simple as that. Or just walking down the street and saying hi to somebody. Something as powerful as saying hello to a person just walking down the street can change their entire day. And we see it. People will tell you, I was hurting. I didn't, my family wasn't there for me. I lost my job. I was hurting. But because somebody smiled at me and say, hello, I hope you're doing well today. And if they take it further, like, how can I help you feel better today? What's going on? I need to call somebody for you. You need me to connect you to somebody? Simple questions like that. And that's how we create the experience for everybody, what love looks like for one another and how we keep each other safe.
What are your thoughts on the defund police movement? Do you think we should have police officers in school?
Woo! um, the defund the police movement. I believe the defund the police movement. For one, it's a rallying cry from the ground up. It's not something that was created from some little group full with faces that don't look like us. This was actually a rallying cry from the streets that said we had enough. We had enough of our babies, our sons and our daughters being killed by police officers that we were told since birth are supposed to keep us safe. And not only being killed, but no accountability. And that's where the rallying cry comes from, the accountability part. If I do something to you, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna get caught. And I'm gonna get 25, 30 years. But over and over and over, when it's a police department that we pay taxes to take someone from our community, they still keep their jobs. And it makes my job harder when I go back to the community to tell them, what we need to do to keep each other safe, why we need to put the guns down, why we need to make sure that we're looking out for our babies in the streets and, don't be spinning the block because, you hitting my grandmother, you hitting my child, and you creating more chaos. So it's like, it's hard for me to carry that message when the community sees what happens when the state, as they say, the government, do what they want, with no accountability. So it's really just trying to make sure that we are holding those accountable that bring harm to our communities. And it also means that we need to reimagine what policing looks like to us. The institution of policing was birthed from slave patrols many, many, many years ago, generations ago. But those were our people, our blood, who suffered. And all they did was repackage them and modernize them to what they are today. But the mission has never changed. It's still oppressing Black and brown people in our communities. So we gotta, and I say just as someone who's 36 and I'm looking at everybody coming behind me, this world is gonna be left to us to mold and build and move in the direction that it needs to go. That means we gotta take on the challenge and say, what does policing and keeping each other safe look like to us and how can we make it better? How can we fix it from the ground up to something that looks like, or maybe don't, maybe we don't want it, but it's our choice. And it also means that we can't rely on using police as the Band-Aid for addressing issues that may be going on with our children in the schools. We always, and I like to tell people this all the time, stop blaming our babies, our youngins for the problems that you see every day. They didn't create them. Children did not create the violence that they're seeing in schools. They didn't create the suffering that's going on in their homes. So why are we blaming them and using the police as a tool against our children to solve that problem? When all we got to do is ask the question, what's going on? What's going on at home? Your grades are low. Okay, let's figure out why your grades are low. Because I know it ain't you. So it must be something that's affecting you. It must be the environment that you're in. Doesn't mean we need to take you out of it, but it also means that maybe we need to figure out what's going on with your family. How can we make sure your family getting support? So you can stay with your family and your family can grow together from the situation y'all may be in. Maybe it's a problem with another family or another person at school building. Maybe those two mothers know each other. Maybe those two mothers got issues going on. We don't know unless we talk to them. All that requires work, consistent work from the community and people in our schools that care about us. Police don't do that work. They respond to it. And what is the result we see? Police officers putting their hands on kids in schools. Teachers, not all teachers, some teachers feel like that as long as they can just call security, they can check that one person that may need a little different type of support than what they get in that classroom. So it's really challenging the system to say we had enough. We want these people who are bringing violence into our schools, who happen to have a badge, out of our schools, and give us the resources we need that's going to care for us, like counselors, mental health support. Making sure that our schools are actually community schools with wraparound services. Where it's like every school in every neighborhood is a hub of resources. Not just go there to learn and play basketball, but go there to get healthcare needs met. Go there, pick up a bag of food if you need it, some clothes. When I went to Merritt Elementary, which is ironically now 6th District Police Station, I had nothing to do with that, but that was the best educational experience that I had at Merritt. Because they used to have a big bin of clothes in the main office. no questions asked. Just come in the morning and afternoon, pick something out, you know, or if you need a little extra dollars, there's always that vice principal that just went above what she needed to. She was hard on you though. You know, she was like the one that cracked the whip in the building, but she was also one that, you know, gave the love out when needed. You know, those are the type of school communities that we need. We're not trying to build robots, you know, people that we just crack the whip on. We're trying to build powerful and mighty people that can take their communities to the next level.
Do you know what the restorative justice is?
Restorative justice really puts the onus on, and I use community as a placeholder, but really the people involved to kind of challenge themselves to dig deep in the realm of forgiveness, allowing people to look at what the issue is directly, acknowledging the harm that they caused, you know, and making sure that the other person, and I always tell folks, if you're looking for an apology, you may not get that from that process, but at the very least, you're going to get acknowledgement from that person about the wrong they've done. And what we can do in that circle to build a better path for each other to move ahead. Sometimes, and a lot of times, that don't look like going to a system or a criminal justice system to get the issue resolved. Sometimes it can just be that circle of just your folks, our people who are involved or in the know, or that everybody equally respect and love and know that they're going to make sure this get resolved in a way that everybody can step away peacefully. Hope that kind of touches. I know it's probably a little more language more specific when it comes to restorative justice, but that's generally the gist of
it. Is it possible that we could petitionally have DC schools that practice a restorative culture that inspires accountability and centers those who have been harmed?
It's definitely possible, and we have some schools who are already started on that path, like Ron Brown College Preparatory High School. They lean heavily on restorative circles. Even when Deanwood had what I call our police uprising in summer 2018, after the stop and frisk incident happened at Nook's Barbershop, Ron Brown was the first one to reach out, just to offer it. Nobody took up, but just to offer, say, hey, you know, we have a circle available if y'all want to come in and try to figure out, can we make peace, you know, move forward. So there is a path already set for many schools to walk down. All we need is the leaders in DCPS that is willing to spread it out to all spaces of learning, not just if you so happen to get into a select high school. Make it at all high schools and elementary schools, because we got to start early and we got to show people in practice what love is and how we forgive each other.
That's all the questions I have for you. Thank you.
No problem, and thank you for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity.
You're welcome. We want to thank our guest, Mr. Lorenzo, for joining us today.